Hello, I am Laurel, your skincare maven, and I have got a question for you today, and see if you can't guess it. Which product do you think has recently gone from one extreme to the other? It was once gathering dust on the bottom of the shelves to actually being sent back to the manufacturer from whence it came, and no one wanted to buy it or use it, to all of a sudden becoming the big trend. It's been the buzz for at least a year and a half now, and it's being written about, it's being advertised in all the top magazines, and yes, all of our beauty queens or stars are using it today. Well, what do you think it? Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. What did he say? Oh, did you hear that? He said facial oils. He's absolutely right. Facial oils gets an A. All right, so yes, the answer is facial oils. Now, personally, I have to laugh a little bit because I know, being in this industry as an esthetician and being around aromatherapy spas and Ayurvedic spas in the past, that these oils have been known to be in existence for thousands and thousands of years. They have been used in one of the first places it's documented in Egypt, and yes, used by the famous Cleopatra. Not only did the Egyptians use facial oils, they used oils of all kinds. They used oils in their hair and on their skin and on their facial skin. Why did they do that? Because their climate was really arid, very dry, and you can absolutely get hydration from using a barrier oil. Because if you've got your cream on and then you put a barrier oil, how does it create that hydration? Well, the hydration that when you move, when you sweat, when you warm up, that's going to kind of stay with you longer than escaping, and your skin's going to be dried out. So that's another benefit of oils. So the hard sell is when I deal with American women who, grew up with us. I mean, I've got a lot of American friends or women who've been from other countries. But when I'm talking about the American women here in America, I'm just talking about the woman who loves soap, and they're used to squeaky clean everything, their hair, skin, rub it and scrub it. Okay, so I mentioned facial oils, and immediately this alarm look on their faces, and they say grease, and they don't mean the country. So what they're talking about, what they're thinking about, is the dirty oven. They're thinking about the pots and pans in the sink. They're thinking about their teenager with acne and bad skin. Grease, bad word. But they don't realize that facial oils come from plants. They have a lot of medicinal value. They are not heavy. They are very, very lightweight, and they have so many benefits. They don't break out your skin. So anyway, I want to give you some of the benefits of the oils. I already told you how hydration can work. I mean, water from an oil, that's pretty fantastic. But with every essential oil, they all offer different things. So combined, you get benefits like they address inflammation, redness, rosacea. They address cellular renewal. They address things like hurrying up or speeding up the blood circulation in your skin, to feeding it with vitamins E, C, A, and like the omegas as well, which are the fats, the lipids. That's another thing facial oils do. So they're across the board very, very beneficial in many ways. So I can also say, you know, when I first tried a facial oil in my 20s, I was working in a store, obviously, I was doing a lot of that back then, and Erna Laszlo, I don't know if you remember that line, had a facial oil, but it was only for the eyes. They had facial oils, but this one was only for the eye area. And of course I was, you know, always looking for the best products to help myself with my eyes. So you dip my finger in the top of it and started to use it around my eye area, and I noticed that it really addressed the tiny little fine lines in that crepiness. Some people have crepey skin. It's sort of like, you know, paper that you really lightly, paper like gift wrap paper, you know, you crunch it up and then, you know, you can't get the lines out of it. That's what crepey skin reminds me of. And when you soften it with oils, moisturizers, you don't notice it as much, and it can get tighter for you, which that's the objective, right? All right, now I just want to talk a little bit about the difference between the facial oils and the ability that they have to be a makeup primer. I don't want to say that word, but primer. So, you know, as looking back in time, the big thing, I guess, 80s, 90s, maybe it's still happening today, a lot of companies were putting out primers. So you put them on after your moisturizer as the slip before your makeup. Now these primers were full of silicone and synthetics. So basically they were chemicals. The one thing about these, number one, they had nothing to offer your skin. All right. Number two, they were such an occlusive barrier that the skin almost was suffocating. It couldn't breathe. All right. And you know, it did hold on your makeup pretty well, but eventually it started to get muddy and change color sometimes. So those were the old makeup bases. Nowadays, they're using the facial oils. Not only are they a barrier and they're moist enough to put your makeup over, but they're feeding your skin all these good things, the antioxidants, the vitamins, the help of inflammation, all that good stuff. So your makeup is going on, and it's not as thick. I think those silicones were much harder to work with. They were thicker. Facial oils, very light and a beautiful finish for makeup. And the reason you want that slip before your makeup, I always tell women, I guess men too, you don't want that static cling that you get when you don't wear a slip with a dress. You can't move your legs and everything it's embarrassing. It's personally embarrassing. So this is the same idea. When you don't wear a slip under your makeup clings. And it clings to every pore, every line, every imperfection that you have. And you don't want to have that seen. So use your facial oil.